Hello everyone, you're welcome back to Football Signal HQ. My name is Mayowa aka you can call me the football juggernaut. The World Cup is already underway. We've seen a couple of games. All the host countries have actually played their first game. We saw Mexico defeat South Africa 2-0 in Group A. We saw Canada in Group B play out a 1-1 draw with Bosnia. And in Group D, we recently saw USA spanked Paraguay 4-1. So the World Cup has given us, goals and dramas in the last couple of days that the World Cup has started. So today we are going to be looking at Group C. Group C houses Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. And particularly, we are going to be previewing the game between Brazil and Morocco. Brazil and Morocco are literally the two biggest teams in this group, and there are two teams that people expect that they are going to make it out of that group. So the game between Brazil and Morocco is a very important and probably going to be the most interesting game in this group. Looking at Brazil is a household name in the World Cup. Brazil has been to all editions of the World Cup since inception in 1930, and they are the only teams to have actually ever achieved this, to have been to the World Cup across all installment and editions of the World Cup. They've been ever present. So, which also makes Brazil the most successful team at the World Cup. Brazil have won 5 titles at the World Cup. Their most recent one coming in 2002 in Korea and Japan. We remember that star-studded Brazil side with the likes of Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos, Cafu, Edmilson, Roque Jr., Gilberto Silva, Kleberson. We even also had Kaká, even although Kaká never get to play any game in that competition. But that team was studied, and they cleaned out everyone and won that competition. The last time in 2014 when Brazil hosted, they lost scandalously to Germany 7-1 in that infamous game in the semi-final. So Brazil super successful at the competition, the most wins of any country have ever participated. So we always expect Brazil to be one of the teams that will win any edition of the World Cup that they participate in. They are always a favorite to win. Even in this current World Cup as well, we all expect Brazil to be one of the favorites to win this competition. And how did Brazil eventually qualify for this World Cup? They finished 5th in their qualifying round in South America qualifying zone. They finished 5th, and that's unlike Brazil. You would actually expect Brazil to finish like 1-2. If Brazil is ever going to finish second, it's going to be second behind Argentina. But Brazil finished 5th in this edition, and because the South American zone, they have 6 automatic qualifying slots. Brazil still get to qualify after finishing 5th. Looking at Morocco on the other hand, generally, Moroccan football has been on the ascendancy. If you look at the last, let's say the last 8 to 10 years, their football has been rising and been on the ascendancy across women football, age grade football, their national team. They've really been on the rise. In the last edition of the Nations Cup that they hosted, they got to the final, although they eventually lost that final to Senegal. And due to some controversies, actually, the trophy was handed back to them. The case has gone to CAS, and that is still a pending case in CAS. So we don't even know if Morocco is the winner of that competition or Senegal. But the point here is that Moroccan football is on the rise. It's been on the ascendancy. Morocco made their debut in the World Cup in 1970, also interestingly hosted by Mexico. In the edition in 1986, also hosted by Mexico, interestingly again, Mexico 86, Morocco became the first African country to make it to the round of 16 of a FIFA World Cup. And in 2022 again, Morocco again became the first African country to make it to the semi-final of a FIFA World Cup. So you can see Moroccan football has been on the rise, and they've been the most successful African country at the FIFA World Cup. Morocco has been to 7 different World Cups, and the second most appearances by an African country, only bested by Cameroon, who have been to 8 editions of the World Cup. And how did Morocco also qualify for this World Cup? Morocco qualified by finishing top of their qualifying group in the African qualifying zone. Morocco spanked everyone that they played in that qualifying group. They finished with the maximum of 24 points. They conceded just 2 goals. So the Moroccan defense is very organized, compact. In the last World Cup in 2022, they got to the semi-final of that World Cup under their coach Walid Regragui. I'm talking about Walid. After what happened to them in the final of the Nations Cup that they hosted last a couple of months ago, Walid was actually sacked. He has been replaced by their victorious under-20 coach, the under-20 coach who won the World Cup for them in 2025, Mohamed Ouabi. So he's now the new coach of Morocco. Um, how do I expect these two teams to play? Let's even start from their form in their most recent games. So looking at Brazil, in their last 3 games, they've won all their last 3 games. And in none of the games that they've played, not even their last last 5 games, Brazil have conceded a goal. Although, I mean, their last 3 games is win, but they've been conceding a goal in each of these games. Looking at Morocco, if you look at their last three games as well. So Morocco, I think they won 2, they drew 1, and the game that they drew was their most recent game against Norway. They played 1-1 in that particular game. So their form is almost the same. Okay, Brazil 3 wins, Morocco 2 wins and a draw. How do I expect these two teams to line up in this encounter? So looking at Brazil is now coached by the legendary Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti. We know what Carlo Ancelotti achieved with Real Madrid. In Carlo Ancelotti's first stint at Real Madrid between, I think, 2010 and 2015, Carlo Ancelotti won the La Decima for Real Madrid. He won La Decima for us, and in the second stint as well, he won the Champions League, he won the La Liga. In total, he won about three Champions League, 2 La Liga titles or thereabout for my team Real Madrid. So we know Carlo Ancelotti at club level is a legend. He did it with Real Madrid, did it with AC Milan. He did at Chelsea. He went to struggling Everton as well, and he tried to make things happen for them. So Carlo Ancelotti at club level, a legendary coach. At national team level actor, on the other hand, he hasn't been that much tested, but now he has taken over this Brazilian side. So I expect him to still be attacking, to still put up an attacking formation. He's not really going to turn the Brazilian team to Real Madrid. I mean, the players he had to work with in Real Madrid were is different from what he's working with now in Brazil, especially in the midfield. At Real Madrid, then he had the likes of Luka Modric. There was Toni Kroos, Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde. So there are arrays of players like that in the midfield that he could work with. I'm looking at Brazil now. So although we have the likes of Casemiro, there's Bruno Guimaraes. So I expect him to turn out with a kind of 4-2-3-1 formation. I know that Brazil, they won't really want to, because they know that the Moroccan team can be very, very dangerous on the counter. So when Brazil is not with the ball, they will try to be very, very compact. They will try to, while attacking, they will try to, get Vinicius Junior in this one-on-one situation where he can run at the defense, it's going to be Ashraf Hakimi on the right for Morocco. So they'll try to get Vinicius in these situations where he can run at the defense. We also have Rafinha on the right as well, who can also run at the defense, take out the defenders. He could take a shot from outside the area. So the Brazilian team don't even need to. They don't need to do the tiki-taka tapping in before they can score a goal. Vinicius as well can give you that very amazing coiler from outside the 18. So we expect the same thing for Rafinha as well. So they will try to get Vinicius and Rafinha in this kind of situation. They are going to have Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes to cover and protect the defense, especially when they are not with the ball. So I expect some level of discipline, compactness, but trying to also play this free-flowing samba Brazilian football, try to get Vinicius in this isolated situation and some kind of like free kind of role to move around and run at the defense, try to take defenders out, maybe put some passes in cases where he cannot go past a defender. So I expect him to line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Alisson as the goalkeeper. I expect to see Alexandro on the left back, Danilo right back, Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhaes as the center back pairing. I expect to see Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes center midfield protecting the defense. I expect to see maybe Lucas Paqueta in kind of attacking midfield role, Vinicius on the left, Rafinha on the right, and Cunha of Manchester United playing as a striking role. Now we could also see a case where maybe in place of Cunha, Thiago of Brentford could come in. He had an amazing season at Brentford, a breakout season, scoring over double digit, but close to 15 goals last season in the EPL. So there could be a situation where we actually see Thiago in place of Cunha, but I would go with Cunha in that 4-2-3-1 formation. And let's look at Morocco as well. Morocco under Wali Regragui, they were very, very disciplined side. they don't really let you score them too many goals, and even they themselves going forward, they might not score too much goals as well. They just score you one goal, pam, and they will lock up the defense. This is the same way they got to the semi-finals of the World Cup in Qatar. Like, they are not really that. They are not, they don't necessarily want to score too many goals, and at the same time they are not going to allow you to score them as well. And this new Moroccan side under the new coach Mohamed Ouabi, so they've also inherited some of the defensive solidity. Although Ouabi on its own, I mean, is their under 20 World Cup winning coach. He won the World Cup with the World Cup in 2025 with their under 20 team. So there is he has this trust in youth and all that. So he might want to be a bit more explosive, very energetic, since he's just coming from youth football. But that defensive solidity, they still inherited that from Walid's team. So I expect him to have this a kind of disciplined pressing. They will try to cover the defense, cut out the passing lanes, try to recover the ball in some very useful areas. It's a very useful area. They will recover the ball and play some very fast combinations. They have the likes of Hakim Ziyech, Achraf Hakimi, Unai, El Kanouz, Brahim Diaz. They will play a very, very quick combination among themselves and try to get the ball to the striker, which could be either I think most likely Saibari, and it could also be Ayub Kabi as well. So play this fast combination, get the ball to the striker, nick you a goal or two, and lock up the defense. So I expect them to be very disciplined, very, very compact. They know that they are coming up against a Brazilian side that boasts of the likes of Vinicius. Vinicius on his normal day is a world beater, is a world-class footballer. So they won't really want to be very relaxed and playing around in the defense as well. But I expect them to also line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation as well. No too much defensive. Okay, let's defend, let us sit back, let them attack us kind of thing. I think they want to go straight to, I think, toe to toe, starting out the game against Brazil in an equal 4-2-3-1 formation as well. I expect to see Yassine Bono, their regular goalkeeper, still Yassine Bono, have Mazraoui on the left, with Achraf, the legendary Achraf Hakimi, the current African Footballer of the Year and the amazing footballer for PSG as well. He recently won the Champions League for the second time consecutively with PSG. So I still expect to see Achraf Hakimi on the right, Riyad and Diop in the center, El Anawi and Boadi shielding the defense and playing like a central midfield role for them. Then we have having Hakim Ziyech. I think Hakim Ziyech, Unai, and Brahim Diaz are going to sort of like the three man in the attacking midfield and the on the wings for them. And finally, I have Saibari in the attack. So this is how I think they are going to line up. Both teams 4-2-3-1, try to go against each other, cancel out each other, and be very also disciplined and not give away the ball easily, cheaply in the defense. The Brazilian wingers have pace. Vinicius Junior very pacey. If he gets the ball on a counter and run at defense, he could take one or two. He could take the whole defense. Actually, take the whole defense out, and he could also even hit a shot right from the outside of the 18 as well. And I'm sure the Moroccan coach is also aware of this as well. And looking at both teams, it could also be a game that could actually be won from the defense. So defensive strength is also quite important, and I think this is where Brazil might also get the edge as well, because looking at the Brazilian defense, there are some players that could come up the defense to change the game for them. So let's look at Endrick, for example. Endrick, the amazing youth footballer, he left Palmeiras to join Real Madrid in 2025. He was supposed to be like a breakout star for Real Madrid, but that didn't quite happen for him. I mean, there were a couple of players he needed to battle with, he needed to struggle with in the attack at Real Madrid. Real Madrid also bought Kylian Mbappe at the time. He couldn't displace Mbappe. We also had them then. I think in the second season, Gonzalo Garcia also came in. Xabi Alonso was trusting Gonzalo Garcia ahead of him. So there weren't too many minutes for Endrick, especially under Alonso. And Ancelotti at Real Madrid then even gave it much more time than Alonso did. He left Real Madrid on loan. He went to Lyon. He rediscovered his spark at Lyon. Did really well, and that rediscovering of form at Lyon is what has made him to now eventually make the Brazilian team to this World Cup, because we weren't even expecting. I myself wasn't even expecting Hendrick to make it to the team, but he went to Lyon, rediscovered his spark. Now he's back in the team ahead of someone like Joao Pedro at Chelsea. So Hendrick could be a difference maker, and Hendrick's left foot, is very fast, very pacey, very aggressive, could shoot outside the box. So Hendrick is someone that we should watch out for coming off the bench for Brazil. Yeah, Ryan can also be someone to come off the bench and do something, bring something new to the Brazilian attack. Igor Thiago as well. If Igor Thiago is not starting, he is also someone you can trust to give you the goals. He had an amazing season with Brentford, scoring double digits at Brentford as well. So that's someone that we can also look out for to come in and make a difference for Brazil. And looking at Morocco as well, so who are the players that might come off the bench, try to bring some dynamism, a team or two. I think Ayub El Kabi, if it's like Barry, which I think is going to start ahead of him. So Ayub El Kabi could come in, bring some dynamism, to the attack. There could also be El Zazuli, Sofian Raimi. So these are some players that I think could come on for Morocco and try to maybe change a thing or two for them in case the games get very tight and cagey. Generally, I think Brazil is going to get the nod and edge from me in this game. They have a lot more strength on the bench than Morocco, and their starting 11 as well is actually they can overwhelm you. Vinicius on his day is a very dangerous footballer. So and you having Vinicius, you have Rafinha, and you have someone like Casemiro in the middle. Casemiro is someone who could shoot and score from anywhere. He had a very fine season with Manchester United. So I think Brazil might be too much for the Moroccans to handle. Well, I don't think the Brazilian defense as well could be suspect. They could be suspect, so I don't really see them keeping a clean sheet in this game. I think Morocco is going to get a goal. Looking at Brazil, their last 5 games they've conceded a goal in the last 5 games that they've played. So I don't see them keeping a clean sheet in this game. So I think Morocco would score, but I think eventually Brazil is going to take the day. So my prediction for this match is going to be Brazil 2, Morocco 1, and I think my boy Vinicius is going to get a goal in this match. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be an open game. The two teams will try to come at each other and try to see, okay, who can score. The Moroccans will try to maybe be a bit compact. Okay, look at what the Brazilians are doing. See if they can soak up and early pressure. If Brazil on the counter, get a goal if they can, and try to sit and try to very discipline and sit back. So there you have it. I'll catch up with you again maybe after the game, do some a review of the game, of how the match itself went. So thank you so much. Like, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye. See you next time.